Blue Ridge Mountains have been the cornerstone for me growing up. That's where I cut my teeth hunting whitetails.
Well, since I was a kid, when we used to go hunting, it was always a family tradition. We really wanted to set out. A lot of people don't see a lot of hunting on the East Coast because we're from the mountains and we don't have soybeans and corn, and y'all know as well as I do, it's hard to kill good bucks here, you know? We don't have a lot, and you work and work and work to get something decent, and this is a big 4-year-old mountain buck, and I'm tickled as if it was a 170 in Kansas, I really am. Best feeling on the planet. How about that right there? An old Virginia mountain buck, huh?
I told Eric for years, I said, you need to find you a spot just across the Carolina line. You're too close not to be hunting there.
And I literally have lived within about 11 miles, 12 miles roughly, from Allegheny, North Carolina. And I've got 2 buddies, Josh and Matt, they're weekend warriors. And there's nothing wrong with that, my dad was. Them boys like to pour some stuff out. They like to see if they can get a big deer coming to it, and then they like to shoot it. I like hunting mature deer, and they've told me for years, you need to get your tail over here to Carolina.
So this year, he took my advice, found him a spot.
I've always liked to call it sweat equity. We're just earning a big deer this fall. We're gonna kill some big deer.
We have no clue that Eric has picked up this farm in North Carolina. Once again, Eric has slipped through the cracks and kind of found this awesome place off to himself, and I'm curious to see what happens.
So here I come, boys. I'm going to the Tar Heel State, and I'm gonna try to shoot me a big old buck.
That doesn't happen, people. 10 yards to base of the tree.
Unbelievable morning.
He came up there all the way.
That's a big deal, Chris.
Are you kidding? What a deer, son.
As bad as I hate to brag on Eric, I will say this about him. He is the most persistent hunter I have ever met in my entire life. If he gets on a deer, it's like that's all he can think about.
I literally getting pictures from Matt and Josh every other day of all these big deer they got, like 125 to 135, 40-inch type deer. And I'm thinking, if these guys can do this, like there's no doubt I can go over there. I'm gonna find more than they've got. I'm gonna kill deer bigger than they can kill.
That's probably one of the most disappointing right before game time camera pulls I've ever had, ever.
I've knocked on a lot of doors. I spent 2 weeks trying to find some ground. I found 3 farms. Well, I soon found out that after knocking on lots of doors that I wasn't gonna kill as big a deer as I thought I could.
Ain't no deer living here. Oh, we'll see you on the next trip. Let's hope it's a little better next time.
To be honest with you, I ate a big dose of humble pie. I could not find but one decent buck on the ground that I had. And I mean, I've only determined, I guess, that the farms that Matt and Josh have got are just the high-end farms. That's why there's big deer there. So I immediately started pouring Monster Mill out. I knew it's worked great in other states. It's worked great for Matt for years up there.
On the Virginia side, you cannot bait during season. On Carolina, you can, and all there is just an imaginary line between one state and the other. Literally, I have properties that join both states, but I'm telling you, the difference in this terrain where we hunt in all this mountainous area, the bucks will find it, and typically you're gonna find one that enjoys it enough that he will come back to it.
I did find one good buck. He's a mature 8-pointer. He's 4.5 years old. And as the couple weeks the season started coming in, he started getting more and more consistent, and I felt like I was gonna get a chance at him.
It's Christmas in September. Pull this card out, check, I can't wait. I've got a buck I've been patterning up here for the last 2 weeks, and he's a really good, solid buck. It's the only good buck I got up here. But if he's doing anything consistent, I'm coming to hunt him here next week because the weather's right, finally. And I'm gonna put some new Monster Mill out. And I mean, that's what I love about hunting North Carolina is you can actually bait up here. So let me get a fresh card here. It's just running cameras up here, checking to see what deer we got.
I have hunted early season in Kansas, and what I loved about Kansas in September is your mature bucks, especially, as soon as they come out of velvet, they will stay on the same pattern. North Carolina has proven to be no different.
This is a typical case of early season. It's September. Eric has found a property. He's done his homework. He's run cameras. He's had Monster Mill out, and he's found an apple tree. Probably the best tactic out of all of them that Eric just done. Was not told none of the rest of us he even had a place in North Carolina because we would have been following him over there.
I've got a buck coming in The first time I get a south or a southeast wind, I'm heading in.
Make sure you subscribe and like the page. On top of that, make sure you click the little notification bell. That way you'll be one of the first ones to know when a new video drops.
Hey guys, be sure to check us out on social media and also on our website. You're going to want to follow along for special exclusive behind the scenes, giveaways, and more about the cast.
All right, so let's get something straight when it comes to self-filming. It's freaking hard.
Just filming stuff by yourself ain't easy. I'm glad I ain't got to do this but once this year.
There's a lot of things happening.
I know the camera's crooked. I can't do nothing about it.
Danny Calloway has figured it out. He has gotten really, really good at it.
Well, this is how it's done, self-filming. I'd love to have somebody here this morning. It's early, it's cold, and nobody wants to come get out of bed.
The guy has ice running through his veins. He keeps his junk together. Tons and tons and tons of self-filmed hunts are the deer's in frame, and then the next thing you see, they go out of frame, and then, or completely out of frame, and then you just hear whack. I mean, and you don't get the footage. Danny's always cognitive about staying with it and getting that footage. One of the hardest things is to actually get a good kill on film, but then is to actually get back on your animal and actually get it, you know, falling over.
And I'm glad I can share it with you. And I'm self-filming, so I had to do this recovery. A little rough, but hey, that's how it is.
Which leads me into the next one, and that is Josh, you know, our production man. I like to call him the wizard because it just seems like there's nothing he can't do. Artistic guru that he is, it doesn't matter what he's filming. He is more concerned about that and laying down the best story he can lay down through that lens than anything. Awesome part about the last Virginia buck he self-filmed was the deer's literally going out of frame. Normally, probably even me, as big as this deer was, you just saw me rip one off, but not Josh. I mean, he's like Mr. Smooth and pulled off an amazing job. TKO'd, it was done, and Josh was, yeah, I'm with you, man, fired up.
I can't believe I was able to put all that together. Self-filming, I've had a lot of self-filming things go wrong.
I've always been infatuated with self-filming. Jason and Chris have notoriously, they hate it. And to be honest with you, I took a lot of slack from them through the years because I'm probably about 50% on goof-ups. And by goof-ups, I mean usually bad misses trying to get the deer in frame and get everything done. But I have had some success. Two of my last favorite self-film kills was a great big deer in Missouri. It was one of those deals where we got some ground to hunt on and found a corner bean field. It was getting just trashed.
They're just starting to move. I got 2 hours before dark. Wind is perfect. Now I just need a big one.
Sure enough, big deer came in and everything just went perfect.
I'm fired, flipping up. I know the camera's crooked. I can't do nothing about it. It's been hot, it's been tough, it's been new ground. Self-filming, trying to do it myself. All the time, all the preparation, all the shooting. It comes down to 1 second, one moment, one chance. And I just made it happen. I mean, I'm just dumbfounded. 43 yards and the rest, as they say, is history.
The last self-filmed deer that I killed was here in Virginia. Really nice deer, 130 class deer here at home. And it was one of those deals where I tried to even get people from the fire department to come film me. Chris couldn't film me, but I knew as a whitetail hunter, there are just those days that you know in your gut, today's the day. And everything told me, front blew through, the deer was hitting a particular couple of white oaks that I'd patterned him on, and it was game time, and sure enough, I went in and made it happen.
Okay, so here is the situation. As you can see, the stand behind me is empty. I couldn't get Chris to come with me tonight, so I'm trying to pull off a solo mission. And Chris says, I can't. which I did do, lucky enough, in 2008. I've worked my tail off looking for literally a little patch of white oaks. I've got like 3 trees this deer I call Sir Charles is coming to. Wind is perfect. I had that gut feeling, and man, when your gut tells you something, you gotta listen. So I'm ready to rock.
Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, like it. You're gonna get that little notification bell. It's gonna go off, let you know when something new hits. Follow, subscribe. Happy hunting this fall. We love everybody. Thank you again.
The last self-filmed deer that I killed was here in Virginia. Sure enough, I went in and made it happen.
I've got like 3 trees this deer I call Sir Charles is coming to. Wind is perfect. I had that gut feeling, and man, when your gut tells you something, you gotta listen. So I'm ready to rock. Wow, take a look at that. What a deer. He is gorgeous. I've worked so hard this year, this summer, fall, trying to pattern this buck, because it was him or nothing. And I can't tell you how proud I am to finally got a crack at him. Had to do it on my own. I had a blast doing it. Just an awesome buck, and I cannot tell you how happy I am to have my hands on him.
I've done it once, done it twice, done it several times, and I never even told Jason or Chris or Matt that I was going to the woods to try to self-film this North Carolina buck. It was one of those deals where everybody was gone, they were all out hunting and doing their thing.
Found one good deer, good 8-pointer in the last week. He's been doing some consistent stuff, and if he shows up tonight, man, I hope I can make a good shot and make it happen. It's gonna be a good night tonight. It's just right, it's hot, but it's that time of year. But boy, they are so patternable this time of year. I'd love to kill my first deer in September in northwest North Carolina. I feel almost stupid. I should have been hunting North Carolina a long time ago. Matt Bullins and Josh Green for years have been getting on some good bucks, and I finally saw the light, but had 2 pretty 2-year-olds come in. I've got pictures of them, and there's another big 8-pointer, so hopefully he'll show up. It's only my second time hunting him, so we'll see, but it's a good evening. We need some good luck, so they call Big E, and I'm self-filming tonight. Everybody's busy, and I just didn't have anybody go with me, so I've done self-filming a whole lot. The cool thing is there's an apple tree right here I'm hunting, and I got a camera arm, so literally if they come in and commit, start eating apples, I mean, it's not that hard. I got a vine out over there with scrape fix on it. They've been hitting, so we'll see. But it's a good evening, seeing a lot of deer. Yeah! That's my first deer ever in the state of North Carolina. First one. I'm telling you, I've lived here my whole life, and and I feel so stupid almost. I literally live 15 miles from a state line in North Carolina. North Carolina opens a month earlier, and I've been too lazy and too sorry to get off my butt and go find a place to hunt. Now, it wasn't easy, but I had a couple people help me out. And hey, that ain't the biggest buck in the world, and I mean, some of my buddies like Matt and Josh, they've got bigger, but man, for this time of the year, that deer I think is a 4-year-old, solid 4-year-old, big, pretty 8-pointer. Oh man, what a buck! Oh, what a way to start the season! Fired him up, son. We needed that. We have struggled the last couple weeks here, and you know, everybody, we're all on the same team. We're all after the same results. We all want to kill big deer. We all want to push each other. We all want to do good together. And man, we struggled. I mean, Danny struggled. Matt struggled. It's been rough, and they had to call in me, do a little pinch hit. Self-filming too.
We need you to support us, guys. So go over, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And every time we post something, you're gonna get that little bell going off, and you're gonna know instantly that you can go over and watch it and catch what's going on.
Eric has always been for years the guy that wants to go self-film. We fuss about it. Chris, Matt, and myself, we fuss all the time. We're like, don't self-film, don't self-film. It's hard, this can happen, that can happen.
They told me, oh, don't do it, too many things can go wrong. Well, things can go wrong, and they have gone wrong, but worked out tonight, so.
The best thing that has come out for Eric is a Tacticam. If Eric screws up or messes up and doesn't get to kill on camera, his Tacticam will.
If you are a self-filmer, or if you're not a self-filmer, you need a Tacticam, because years ago, we never had the B plan of having another camera. You know, even if you don't want to take a camera arm, I mean, you can put it on anything. You can put it on your bow, you can put it on a hanger, you can put it on a gun, whatever you want to put it on. But I always know when I push record on that Tacticam, I can forget about everything, and I know at least I'm going to get that kill shot. So when you watch this shot, you watch the Tacticam back, there's no doubt, like, I mean, throttled him, put it right where I needed it to be. Hindsight's always 20/20. I get to the arrow, I look at the arrow, right at dark, and I'm like going, that's not the color that it should be. I mean, there's blood on it, but there's not quite what I wanted to see. So we've always said it 100 times, when in doubt, you back out. There, if he's dead right now, he will be dead there tomorrow morning. I've got a cool night coming, I'm going back tomorrow.
Okay, I'm gonna talk here real quick, but it's next morning. Last night when I watched that deer, I mean, you look at that shot and it looks, it obviously, it hit him correctly left to right and all that kind of stuff. And I let the leg go forward on that deer, but that deer was still quartering more than I thought he was. And when I found this arrow last night, looked at this end of it, and as you can see, it looks great. But on the rest of it, it was more, you've got that more darker brown color. That told me right there that best case scenario, I got one lung and I definitely got center punch to liver. So rather than push it, I just backed out last night, and I'm gonna go recover this deer some morning. Never, ever, ever, ever push a deer if you don't have to. If you get back a little bit, it's better being the shoulder. If you get up in that shoulder, you're not gonna find that deer. And if I find him right here's where I'm gonna find him. That's a big cutting broadhead from dead ringer, and it made a huge hole, I'm sure. So
whatever you want to shoot, you shoot if you're confident with it. For me and my confidence, I like to shoot a dead ringer. It never fails me. It's a huge expandable broadhead with a huge cutting diameter. And if I do make a mistake, if I'm 2 or 3 inches off, my emotions get the best of me, it's gonna cover me each and every time.
oh man, check out that buck. What a deer. Awesome buck right here in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, North Carolina. That's my first one. Big mature 8-pointer, long main beams. I tell you what, I couldn't be any happier. It's starting to get warm here, so gonna wrap this up quick, but it's all about early season scouting, finding the right spot, being on the right spot. Was watching this big deer on camera, and he was coming to this apple tree pretty much almost every evening, and sure enough, he came in and made the shot. Couldn't be any happier. It's a beautiful 4.5-year-old mountain buck. Tickled to death. What a way to start the season. Now I gotta get him out of here. It's getting hot. Flies are starting to come around. I don't want to lose this meat, so. Man, what a deer.
So Eric's gonna sit right here in this chair, and he's gonna tell you, I couldn't find anybody to go film me. Matt was hunting, Jason and Chris were in Maryland, and I just didn't have anybody to go with me, so I had to self-film. Back of his mind, all he wanted to do was prove to myself, Jason and Chris, that he could shoot a deer and film it himself and say, I told you so.
I told you so.
Once again, hats off to Eric. He could not stand it. He had to be the first person out of the 4 of us to send a group text with a picture behind a deer. Couldn't stand it. Kudos, brother.